I was told basically that I was going to lose my job. I panicked and I said to myself, Esther, you've got 1 year. Where things changed for me was during COVID. I was able to actually think outside the box. Like, if I wasn't a nurse, what would I do? And so I came across rent to rent. 2 out of 10 investors were family friends. Everyone else were strangers. I don't know them. Some till today I haven't met. That's when the penny drops because I thought, hold on, I like this lifestyle. How do I make this a thing? No dream is too big to achieve. Unapologetically, just do it.
Hello, welcome back, Money Honeys, to another episode with me, your host, Rosalia Lazara Tilly. Now, today I have found a guest through my, Instagram activity, looking for people to come and share their story. I found someone who is going to give us that perspective of how she made that bold transition from being a former senior nurse to entering the world of property investment. Now, you often find people with full-time jobs in different sectors, healthcare or IT, different backgrounds, who often build up a bit of pot of cash, or they want to exit the 9 to 5 and they don't know how because they don't have the cash. And property is always offered to them as this get out clause, right? As this way to get out of your 9 to 5. And it sounds really glamorous, it sounds really exciting, and it sounds really lucrative. And then you're like, but how? How do I make it work? So this particular guest today is a former senior nurse, as I said. She made the bold transition into the world of property investment. While she was dedicated to her career in healthcare, she had this deep desire for more. You know, she wanted more freedom, more financial security, and a better quality of life. I mean, who doesn't, right? And I'm sure if you're working right now, or when I was in a 9 to 5, I felt the same. I was like, this can't just be it, right? This can't just be all that I do. So she had this vision to have more freedom, to have more financial security, and she raised over £100,000 in investment to build her property portfolio. So today we're here to discover how exactly she did that. Now she earns, like today, she's coming here wearing her property investor hat. She fully works in the property sector because she earns a passive income. So she's gone from senior nurse to passive income from property, and she has created a life of financial freedom, flexibility, and she's even appeared on a property documentary for Channel 4. So maybe you might recognize her. So without further ado, I really want to give a warm welcome to the wonderful guest today, Esther Lara. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me. That was an amazing intro, by the way.
I love my intros, and every guest always comments like, thanks for the intro, that was so cool. Because yeah, I really take time and pride in searching for cool stories and people who have got so much abundance and value to give. So please give us your own intro for those people who don't know you. Who are you and what do you do?
Thank you very much. So, like you mentioned, my name is Esther Lara. I am the founder of Alafia Properties. I am a former nurse and currently investing in properties, specifically HMOs.
Excellent. That was going to be my first question. Exactly what is your portfolio made up of?
It's changed over the years. So initially I was doing rent to rents. So that would be when you get permission from a landlord to essentially sublet the property. Over the years, me being me, wanting more again, I decided to take things a little bit further and go into the BRRR method: buy, refurbish, refinance, rent. And since doing that, I've just kind of stuck with it and just ran with it.
Lovely. Yes. Yeah. The BRR method and your HMOs. Fantastic. Is there a particular region or area that you invest in?
I kind of go where the deal is, really, but I would say London and Coventry is my spot at the moment.
Why those two? Like very different. How did you find
Very different.
Coventry? Yeah.
London was by accident, actually.
Are you
because
not from London?
I am from London, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
wasn't necessarily looking to invest in London. So that was kind of by accident. I just spotted an opportunity and just kind of went with that. And then obviously, as you know, London is very expensive. So I was looking for somewhere that I could drive to, not too far, but then outside London. And
Yes.
Coventry seemed to be that sweet spot.
Nice. And what did you discover about Coventry? Like, what kind of strategies? Is that your HMO strategy in Coventry, or
HMO,
yeah,
HMO.
yeah.
So with Coventry, a few things changed in terms of Article 4. So Article 4 is a restriction by the council to do multiple HMOs. So that changed over the years. So what I've done is still gone to Coventry, but the outskirts of Coventry, so places like Nuneaton, where
Yes.
you could still do HMOs without needing planning permission. So
Yeah.
that's
Love
why
it.
there, because I could still kind of execute my plans without
Yeah.
loads of planning applications and all of that.
Yeah, I feel quite similar because I live in north of London, so I'm not classed as London. I'm in Hertfordshire, but even just like the outskirts of London and Hertfordshire, we've got the overspill of Londoners coming in here, so they've really spiked the prices up, and it's just unaffordable. Like how my parents started out their portfolio in my area is very different to how they're able to sustain it, and even just like entrance into the markets just feels impossible. So I've
Yeah.
gone up to Sheffield actually, so
Okay.
yeah, I've done something similar to you. So tell me, I want to go back to that transition. If you there in your nurse's outfit, in your uniform, and you're there like life, what does it mean? And then you thought, yeah, property. Oh yeah, let me like take me back to that moment.
Yeah. So it was actually during maternity. So I started this whole property thing really kicked off during maternity. I'd bought a property prior, but I wouldn't say that's when I began my property journey. That was just like you buy a property because that's just kind of like what you do. I knew I
Yeah,
didn't want to
sounds
live in
good,
it.
sounds safe. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's just what you do. Like you get a job, you go to uni, get a job, and
Were
then
you living in it? Were you living in
I
that
wasn't. I
property?
wasn't.
Oh, okay. So you had bought a property for investment purposes.
Yeah, at some point I was kind of basically what happened was during COVID, it was unoccupied for like 2 years because there was just so much crazy stuff happening. The builders didn't want to come, and it was just taking so long to actually do the work. It took so long. So at that point, I just thought I've lost a lot of money already because it's been vacant for like 2 years. So I decided to get consent to let because it was a residential. Got consent to let and then rented it out. And in my
Wow.
head, it was to recoup the money that I'd lost,
Yeah.
basically, because
Yeah.
it's been no one's lived in it for 2 years. Anyway, so did that. But even then, the penny didn't drop. I just thought, okay, yeah, well, I'm just getting my money back. I'm not really, I wouldn't say I was a property investor, even though I had the mindset. You can see I was kind of going in that way, but
Yeah, yeah. Your intuition was, you knew something.
exactly.
Yes.
But I wouldn't, I can't put that down to, oh, I'm into property because I wasn't. My mind just wasn't there. Where things changed for me was during COVID. So I've always been someone who's a workaholic, working my way up, working my way up. And that's all I knew. I thought that's what financial freedom looked like, getting as much money as you can and living a lifestyle. But then I realized that actually I've got all this money, but I can't even spend it because I don't have the time to.
Yeah, because
Do
you're
you know?
working all the time.
I'm
Like, what's
working
the
all the
point of getting a
time,
high paying job and literally you're working to keep that high
constantly.
paying job?
Exactly. So during COVID, I went into maternity leave, and for the very first time in my working career, I was able to actually think outside the box. Like, if I wasn't a nurse, what would I do? What would I do outside nursing? So I came across rent to rent, similar to you, where you're scouting for guests. I was just scouting for different opportunities. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Stumbled across rent to rent, and that's kind of where my property journey began. And because I'd got the income from my previous property while I was on maternity leave, that's when the penny dropped because I thought, hold on, I like this lifestyle. How do I make this a thing?
Mm.
How do I replace my income? If this profits a certain amount, all I need to do is get five of those minimum to replace my income. Once I figured that out, I said, yeah, I'm in.
Yes. And you were in consciously this time. You were like, right,
Yeah,
proactively, how do I make this
proactively.
happen?
Proactively. So then I was actively looking for deals. At the time, it was rent to rent deals. And then I was told basically that I was going to lose my job.
Oh,
I could potentially lose my job because then there was giving away the vaccine, the COVID vaccination. And I was pregnant at the time, so I didn't want to take it.
right. But
So
why would you lose your job?
because if you don't take the vaccine, you're going to lose your job.
Oh, I see.
So I panicked. And I said to myself, Esther, you've got 1 year to figure out what you're going to do if after maternity leave, you don't have a job. And that was literally the light up, you know, because I had to
Oh
figure it
my
out.
gosh.
I had 1 year to figure it out. If you don't figure it out, you're going to lose your job. And what's going to happen to you?
Right. So in that year, you were, I imagine originally you'd planned to take some time out to be with your baby, but
Yeah,
really, like your brain was like, okay, you've had the baby, nice, well done, congratulations, but now
yeah,
you need to actually rethink your whole life, pivot. Okay. So then apparently you raised from your bio £100,000.
yeah.
How did you do that? And what did you do with that money?
Right. So because I'd been documenting my journey, so when I decided, right, I'm going to go into rent to rent, I was document my journey. So I had my newborn and my 2 year old. I would go on long drives. I would stop on the hard shoulder. I would breastfeed, continue my journey. I was documenting
When you
everything
say documenting, are you
on
talking about
Instagram.
creating content? Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
Love
a lot
it.
of people kind of saw my journey. Oh, this
Yeah,
new girl, what's she doing? Why is she running around with two kids looking for property? What's all this about?
love
People
it.
was like really supportive. So I did rent to rent for about 2 years. Again, just constantly documenting my journey, and I had people kind of messaging me, "Oh, you're so inspiring, X, Y, Z." And then I decided to go into bigger things, BRR.
Yeah.
But at that point, I got my job back. So it was all a fluke.
Oh,
Yeah, it was all a fluke. We didn't lose our jobs, even though I didn't take the injection.
yeah, because the rules changed. At first, everyone was like, oh my gosh, if you don't get
Yeah.
it, you're going to die. And then obviously later people realized, actually, you don't need it.
So at that point, my issue was no longer cash flow because that's what I was concerned about. I was concerned about regular cash flow. And I think rent to rent is very good. That strategy is very good for cash flow. Whereas I was more concerned with building wealth. But I felt for that period, my concern was cash flow, monthly cash flow. Because if I didn't have a job, I needed monthly cash flow. So as I got my job back, I changed my strategy because I've got my job. Cash flow is no longer my issue. Focus on building wealth now.
Oh, so you switched from rent to rent
Yeah,
to HMO because then
yeah,
you could build the properties up and, for longer term rather than just quick
100%,
cash in. Right, but
100%.
did you use 100K of your own money or did you find 100K of other people's money?
Other
Or
people's money. So where I was documenting my journey on Instagram, I opened up the opportunity on Instagram to invest and obviously benefit from it. And that's how I raised 100K.
and who did that 100K come from?
Commenters on my
Are these
Instagram.
strangers, or would you say that they were people you actually knew, like friends, family, or were they utter strangers?
2 out of 10 investors were family friends.
Wow.
Everyone else were strangers. I don't know them. Some till today I haven't met.
So, oh my goodness, this is so. I don't know if you know much about what I do, but obviously I teach people how to build a brand on social media. to attract, you know, investors or partners or sponsorship, or, you know, basically your brand is what will draw people into wanting to work with you. So just for
100%.
context, so everything you're saying right now, I'm like, you know, literally beaming, because you're an exact example and a great example of when you do it and you are building with honesty and that raw can. That's how I found you. You know, I was like, you know, that I can see your personality. I already knew what your voice sounded like. I knew your attitude. I knew your, so like I already bought into you before I even met you. And I haven't even met you. This is our official first
First, yeah.
conversation, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's, you're just proof that that does work, right? So
110%.
yeah,
110%.
so that got you that 100K from 10 people, two of which were family and friends, perhaps, eight of them complete strangers.
Complete
And
strangers.
yeah, and then what did you offer them? What was like the process from there?
Many people leave their money in the bank, and the bank usually offers, let's say, 1 to, let's say, 4%, sometimes
Yeah,
5. So the opportunity was, you get a better interest. You invest, get better interest over a period of time.
yeah. And with that, did you go into rent to rent or did you go into HMO? What did you do
HMO.
with that? HMO straight
HMO.
away.
So I
Okay.
went into HMO with that, and I also offered the opportunity for those who were interested to also learn the process with me. So I was so creative. People who were interested, we would meet at Edgware Road. I'm like, hop in the car, we'll drive down to Coventry. You can take a look at the site, the project. That's only if they were interested. That was what I offered if they were interested.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, well, it's too far. I can't come. I'm like, are you interested in coming? Yeah. Meet me in Edgware Road, 9 o'clock. Let's go to Coventry together.
Incredible. So you drove your investors to your sites.
Yeah, yeah. That's if they were
And
interested.
how,
It wasn't
yeah,
mandatory, but if they were interested in actually see, because I used to go about every 2 weeks sometimes a little bit less, but I would go quite regularly just to keep an eye on the project. And if they were interested, I would let them know, look, I'm going down. Are you interested? And if there's someone who they're interested in actually learning the process step by step, come along. Let's go.
yeah, love it. Absolutely love that. And how did you manage, like logistically speaking, in Coventry? Did you manage the projects yourself? Did you find your power team yourself? Did you have a project How did you manage that?
I had a power team. I had a project manager, but I'm someone who I need to build that trust,
Yeah,
and I need to keep my eyes on the project, especially if I've not used them before.
yeah.
I kind of need to see evidence that, okay, I can entrust the project with you without me having to keep my eyes on it. And that was the first time I'd used this build team. So I was kind of there more regularly. Despite the fact that I had a project manager, I still felt the need to kind of keep my eyes on it, hence why I was going every
100%.
2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best way. So tell me, what does your portfolio look like right now?
I would say it still kind of comprises of different stuff. I've got a few things in the pipeline that I'm working on. And yeah, I'm just building. If I'm going to describe it in one word, I would say I'm still building. And I still see myself as at the beginning of my journey, to be honest.
It does feel it's a long game. It's a really long game. But does it
Yeah.
mean that, are you able to sustain your life on your income with property at the moment?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I am. Like I said, I still do bits and bobs here to keep my pin going.
Yeah. So
But
you'll always be a nurse, right? You'll always have that connection.
yeah, I'll always have that. So what I do with the properties is I actually rent them out to social housing
Okay.
or
So
people
that's
with.
your HMO clientele.
That's my HMO clientele. And it's
Okay.
somehow, for me, still connecting my nursing roots to property because I think it just merges nicely with each other.
Yes. Love that. So do you have like council, is that private social housing that you arrange
Private.
yourself? Or you do it privately?
It
Okay.
tends to be private, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, nurses listening to this, dentists, people in their 9 to 5 stuck at their desk. give us your step by step. Like, if I was to start again, if I was to do this again, here's my non-negotiable. Here's a list of things that I would categorically have to do in order to build a passive income through property and make it work.
Number one, believe that you can. Believe that you can. That's the
Got to start
first
with
thing.
mindset. Yes.
That's the bottom line. Number two is mindset, because this takes a mindset shift. If you're someone who's working 9 to 5 and you have quite a rigid timetable, 9, 5, the concept of building a brand and potentially strangers giving you money sounds like it sounds crazy. So definitely working on the mindset, and very important, building a brand. And I think building a brand sometimes sounds daunting, and people kind of gel with the concept of documenting your journey. If that's what makes you feel more comfortable, document your journey. I think brands to some people sounds like, oh gosh, it
Yeah,
sounds
it's a bit too formal. It's a bit too like, sounds like a business, a bit too
yeah.
official. But yeah, you're saying just show yourself
Showcase
and
yourself,
document your journey. Yeah.
show what you're doing. People naturally gravitate to you. For example, myself, I'm just in my own bubble. I'm not really thinking about, people getting drawn to me. I'm just like, I need to do this. I've got 1 year. I need to figure it out, but I'm going to document my journey anyway.
Yes.
Those are the biggest things, three main things I would say.
Yeah. And what about those people though that what I see a lot when I'm coaching my potential clients or people that end up entering that journey is that they're like, oh, but I don't want my boss to find out, and like, I don't want people at work in the hospital to think, oh, she's doing property, and how do you balance the job and your brand? I guess your online activity. Would you say that there is any conflict there, or how do you deal with that?
Personally, I didn't, that wasn't a thing for me, because in business, you want to tell every and any
Exactly.
person what you're doing. So actually, I'm telling my boss, I'm telling
Yeah,
my colleagues, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've started this thing. Guys, come along. I'm trying to bring them along with me.
love that.
I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa, guys, do the maths. We could, you know, we could get out of this in a staff room. I can hear everybody complaining about this, complaining about that. I'm like, guys, I found the solution. X,
yeah. But the
Y,
boss
Z.
doesn't want to hear though that you're like taking all the nurses away and saying, "Oh, we can get out of this." Surely.
The thing is, my thing wasn't to get out, or
Yeah.
even now, I don't necessarily say, oh, get out. But I do believe that it's common knowledge that nurses are overworked, underpaid. You hear this in a staff room, X, Y, Z. So it's like, actually, you can create another source of income. That's kind of always
Yeah.
what it's
Who
been
doesn't
for
want
me.
another source of income?
Yeah, and then you have the choice whether you do leave or not. It's having that
Yeah.
choice. It's having that decision. You can wake up, you can have a slow morning, you could do X, Y, Z. So I've never kind of been, oh, quit your job. I
Yeah.
think it's quite silly to just go ahead, go off and quit your job.
Well, exactly. I mean, I said that to my husband. So my husband works full time, and he's got a very good salary. He's worked for very good companies. He gets other perks and benefits. I've got the business because I lost my job, so I was unlike yourself. The choice was made for me.
Mm,
Literally one day during COVID. I don't know if you've been following my story at all, but for anyone new here and for yourself, just for
mm,
context, I had always known that I had like an entrepreneurial spirit inside me. But because I'd tried so many other things before and none of them worked, I thought, oh, maybe I'm not really cut out for this. Maybe I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just really good at being a leader. Maybe I'll just go into a job that I don't want to be a manager. Manager's different to leader. I want to be more like just really truly satisfied in my career, level it up as much as I can. But yeah, other businesses that I tried in the past kind of failed, or at least I just gave up on them because I was like, it's not going anywhere. So when I finally found a job I actually loved and I was thriving, I was just doing really well in that job. About a year and a half in, So very early on in, you know, when you love a job, usually like the honeymoon phase is like 6 months, but I was a year and a half in and I was like, oh my God, I'm loving it. COVID hits and I was like, oh, okay, well, just 3 weeks break. I could do with this. I was like walking in the fields, getting a tan, you know, and I was just like, I'll go back to my job in 3 weeks time, you know, like, you know, lockdown's only 3 weeks. Well, 3 weeks turned into 6 months of furlough and 6 months of furlough turned into redundancy. And so my life completely turned upside down after 6 months of not working, not building something, not having a backup plan. Oh, what I did do is build a TikTok account of dancing. I literally just danced. It wasn't even like money. Like I couldn't even build a business off the back of it because I didn't want a dance business, but I was just
Yeah.
dancing on TikTok. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I've just spent 6 months wasting my life doing nothing, like literally nothing. And now I've lost my job,
Mm.
but it's still kind of locked down. Like it's still locked down. We're still in the pandemic. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? I have no backup plan. And I've packed away all the backup businesses that I had. Like I've closed them down because
Oh,
I
wow.
was dedicated to this career. Yeah. I'd even given up my, so I was doing a network marketing business. I don't know if you've ever tried MLM or network marketing. I did it for 5 years. And that was like my get out, like backup plan. And even given that up. So I was like, oh my gosh, all the things that I had been working on, the very thing that I thought would never happen to me, or the thing that I'd
It's happened.
planned has now
Yeah.
happened. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe this. So I then started a business. And here I am 5 years later, happy as ever.
Amazing.
Can't
Well
believe
done.
I'm
Well done
here.
to
But
you.
yeah, thank you. However, my husband was like, because he earns really well, and I'm earning sometimes even more than him if I just don't, you know, like in your business, you don't always take it. But anyway, the
Yeah.
long story short is I'm saying to him, this money is given to you every month. Like it's a gift from God. Like you're getting money every month. Why would you consciously choose to give it up? If we're building property business, that is a third income. So now there's two people because we don't have kids or anything at the
Mm.
moment. So it's me and you, but me and you are earning three incomes, not two.
Yeah.
And if you give up your work income, then we go back to having a two income household.
Yeah.
Why would we give up the third income? Why not keep it? Like you keep going to work because you're not going to sit outside your properties. Like, do you need anything? Like you just don't
Yeah.
need to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like just work.
Yeah.
Keep working. So yeah, that's what we're doing really. Like having a job is honorable, guys. Like if you're watching this, you're like, oh, I don't like my 9 to 5. Or if you don't like it, that's one thing. But don't be ashamed of having a 9 to 5 is what I would say
100%.
because it's an honorable
100%.
job. So yeah, don't reject money. It's money. Don't
Yeah, it's
reject it. Don't.
money. And another thing I think is very important is sometimes, depending on what field you want to go into in terms of business, use that job to learn every single skill you need. Take
Works.
that,
The
use it to build your
community.
business.
Yeah, 100. That's why I had side hustles, as I was calling them, because I always had a full-time job, and then when the clock, finished, when my job finished, I'd be like, right, now I'm going off to my side hustle. But I would interlock the networks, I would interlock the skills. I remember my employer being like, "Oh, Ros, you've got to give this like big presentation on stage. Do you want some coaching?" I was like, no, I do this all the time. They're like, how do you know
Yeah,
how to do this? I'm like, because outside of my 9 to 5, I'm going to public speaking events, I'm going to
yeah,
networking, I'm doing personal development. So I was better at my job because I was running businesses on the side. And they were
100%.
like, yeah, like even like LinkedIn, I used to post a lot on LinkedIn. They were like, how do you know how to do this? I was like, because I just go on linkedin.co.uk and it's just there and
Yeah.
it's available. Like why wouldn't I use it?
Mm.
So yeah, there's so much synergy there with how your attitude towards building wealth but also having a career.
Yeah, yeah.
Love that.
I think it's definitely like important to be careful how you make that transition.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So, Esther, we're coming to the end. I always hate the end because it's such an exciting way to get to know people. But tell me about your next big dream, your vision, your ambitions. Because you're a girl from what I can tell, that sets a vision and makes it happen. So I want to know what the next big dream is.
At the moment, it's kind of stable, and it's kind of
Awesome.
more of the same of what I'm doing. But I do have, like, over here, like, really big things that I want to do,
Yeah.
which I will leave for the followers to follow the
Come
journey
back.
and
You'll have to come
see.
back. No, I love, the stable thing that you've just mentioned. I did a post about this once, about how a business and the growth of a business is not just in the scaling and doubling and elevating. Sometimes the growth of the business, or you as a person, is doing more of the same, getting really good at it, getting really stable, getting really solid, because everyone's always thinking about next, bigger, bigger, bigger. But getting what you do right
100%.
is the growth, is that sustainability that you need. So I love the fact that you've honored and you've owned it, and you're like, right now I'm working on being stable. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's more of the same. So similar to my last project, find another one, more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. Because it works. If it works, you don't need to change it.
Don't
So
change it. Yes.
that's kind of what I do. Like, repeat the process, that process, repeat, 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 until I'm ready to kind of go
Yes, I
into
can
that
see you
one.
touching it. I can see you being like, So
Yeah,
we'll have to have you back when you're ready to talk about it and you're ready
yeah.
to reveal what you're doing. But the best way, listeners, is to head on over to Esther's Instagram, and it's all in the show notes and everything. So be sure to check out the link. But yeah, to keep up to date with her journey and what she's doing, the best thing is Instagram. So let's see Esther over there. Give her an ad, give her a follow. And Esther, is there any final words that you want to share with the listeners today?
Stay motivated. No dream is too big to achieve, and just do it. Just do it. Unapologetically, just do it.
Unapologetically, yes. Just get on with it. Don't overthink it. Take one little step, whatever step that is, just towards your goal. So thank you for that, Esther. That's
100%.
beautiful.
Thank you for
And
having me.
oh, my pleasure. You are such a true money honey, like so real, so empowering. And of course, you are a girl with a vision and a dream, and you just make it happen, and you're earning in the process. So yeah, thriving. I love this for you. So thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing your time with us. And to everybody else, if you've come across the Money Honey and this episode through Esther, welcome. Like, love having you here. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe so that you can keep up to date with the next episode and the next one. We release them weekly, and all the Money Honeys are telling a different story. Everyone has a story to tell, and it's relatable to somebody. So whoever that Money Honey connects with and resonates with, that's what I'm here to facilitate. It's a safe space for people to tell their journey, to tell their story, so that even if it's just one listener thinking, oh my gosh, I needed that today, then that's my job done. So thank you for being here again. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.